All right. We are live. Lori Butler is my sister in crime and in time, just in time. And so I want to say thank you for coming on. Hey, New Life Curator. We are in week 3 of our deep dive into knowing your money. We have covered just some basic questions you should ask yourself when you are, looking at, how well do I know my money? That was week 1. We talked about emergency funds and 3 mistakes you could be making if you don't have one. And then today we're going to talk about, I was trying to find a way to talk about budgets, but not talk about budgets because, it seems to be a bad word for some folks. Just having a structure for your money, knowing, not just knowing what's going in and what's coming out, but making decisions about that. We're going to talk about those debit cards and those credit cards that may be a part of the convenience aspects that don't allow us to meet our goals, and what strategy or strategies you could use to kind of get back on track. So welcome, Samira, Black Women Build Wealth. We are at the top of April. April 15th is tax day in the US. Even if you have moved abroad, guess what? You still have to file your taxes. So I hope folks that have businesses that have moved abroad have, identified their CPA, have their receipts in order, and are ready for tax day. But if not, you still have time. Leverage the resources that are around you. But this is a really good time if you're thinking about setting yourself up. January, you're kind of deep in the process, but April 15th, you've looked at those W-2 statements. This is the beginning of the second quarter, so you can make some incremental changes that could really enhance the outcomes that you want for your money by December. So all is not lost. Time is always on your side. If you, as they say, if you're above the ground, time is on your side. You can make a difference today. So we are talking swiping cards is keeping you broke. How you keep your money, how you are aware of your money respectfully is your business. I am offering strategies, tips that have worked for me in our household. I am Dee. I did not introduce myself. From H&D Abroad, I share my real life, real decisions, real choices that have helped us get to the point where we are more ready than we've ever been before to act on the decision to move abroad. Money is usually at the top of the list when people are deciding if they might be ready or if they will feel confident or secure in making the move. So I always say, let's talk about it. This is a conversation that in the chat, people will be able to share their own experiences, what has worked, what has not worked. If you are joining us from the future, thank you for being a part of the replay gang. I do come back if you have a question, a comment, something that you want to celebrate about your financial journey. We want to celebrate with you. So please make sure that you like this video, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This is the kind of content that we provide during the week. It's just, look, I want to live a good life. I don't particularly like pinching pennies, but if being on a budget, if knowing where every dollar, every dime, every penny is going to move me toward my goal, then doing something that's a little bit less comfortable has a purpose. It has a time frame. And I feel like I can take action much easier than somebody kind of coming down and, creating a structure that, I know is good to do, but why do I want to do it? So I put on the thumbnail, touch your money. And that's because I think one of the reasons that we can struggle with wrapping ourselves around the important decisions about money is because of the digital aspect of it. I've shared before that we took an important step. Step one was to automate anything that could be paid through automation, mortgage, utilities, debt repayment. We put it on a payment schedule and it has its own, we have a bill paying account or accounts, depending on what that particular payment is related to, so that it can come out automatically. So the reason why automation is important, just as an overview of some things that we've shared before, is I don't want any late fees. I don't want nothing to get cut off. I don't want to forget. I want it to be there when it needs to be. When you know what you owe, what time of the month that payment is required or that you've set up for those automated transactions, then you can, if you have if you get paid once a month, then you know how much to push into that account so that all of those things will be paid. If you are bi-monthly, you can take those debts, the total amount, cut it in half so that you know this half of the money will be in there. All of the bills that need to be covered can be covered under that one amount. And then the remaining payment or the remaining check, if you get 2 or 3 checks in a good month, then it automates that process for you. That process worked really well for us. So we automated as much as we could. That was feasible. And then everything else, we used cash. It was really hard. Hey, Kimmy Apple. It was really hard, y'all, because I was just used to running my card. And one of the things that I suggested to you all last week when we were talking about emergency funds is we started looking at, when we pulled our statements, not just how much we were spending, we looked at the number of debit card transactions. Over 100 between 2 people in a month. And I was just like, if we don't do anything, one strategy that we decided was important was to lower the amount of debit card transactions. So if we weren't paying the bills by using the debit card, that could cut down on that. If we could automate it, not just automate that part, but then pull out the remaining amount that would cover miscellaneous or other things that could not be automated, that would keep us more aware. And we use the envelope system. I didn't come up with the envelope system. It is a standard when you're looking at different financial education programs. You'll see it called something where you are pulling out cash once a month, every pay period, and you are designating where that money should be allocated to. So whether that is entertainment, miscellaneous, food, which is always a budget buster, travel. We pulled out gas money when the gas money, in the envelope system, you have to, especially if you have a spouse or a partner, it's going to take some coordination because one person carrying around the food envelope means you can't use nothing else for food because the debit cards go in wherever your safety deposit box, under your mattress. I don't know where you keep it, but it's not a part of your everyday spending habit. I think for me, it was important that I literally touch my money because it makes you think, do I really need this? Because if I use this cash for this, I won't have money for something else that I may need that's in this category later. We would take the envelope to the grocery store and pay for groceries in cash. Yes, those commercials where the person paying cash slows everything down, that's what it's supposed to do. Cash is supposed to make you slow down and think about what you're doing, what you're spending money on. I put many a thing back because I was like, what I like to do in our house is I don't like to run out of something. So if we're using the last of whatever it is, then I buy the next thing so that I don't run out of it. Seasoning, my favorite, tofu, whatever it is. I don't like to have one of something. Toilet paper. I don't want to be on the last roll trying to remember to go to the grocery store or to the market and pick up toilet paper. So that part that was something I had to kind of tweak, is some things got purchased and some things didn't. Some things got purchased in this month, and then other things got purchased on a quarterly basis. Like you can go to the big box stores and get the large amount of toilet paper. Kimmy Apple asked a good question. How do you go grocery shopping in a month? I don't. So, okay, so I used to. I guess I should say it that way. So when I first got married, I remember my mother saying the most deplorable thing the thing she hated to do was to go to the grocery store. And I was like, I love the grocery store until I had to go. And so what I would do is I would buy a bunch of canned goods and have very few things that were fresh. Because of how we transformed how we eat, we do eat at home, we do cook, and we know the value of having fewer fat, salt, sugar, and our sodium in our diet. Cooking at home means we go to the grocery store a little bit more often. So when I was going to the grocery store, I was just like, we had stacks and stacks of cans. Now we primarily go, we try to go once a week, maybe twice a week, specifically because of the produce. But the way that we were able to we can grocery shop for a longer period of time is keeping a grocery list. What are the things that I regularly use in my house? Or if I'm trying a new recipe. So if I have a list and I'm not wandering the aisles or trying to rely on my memory, I know exactly what we have what needs to be replaced. I'm not trying to remember. One time we were buying something. Oh goodness, I'm trying to remember what it was. And I had so much of it because I was buying it, my husband was buying it. Like I couldn't remember if I had bought it before, and like we had 3 or 4 of the same thing. Like olive oil. I was like, that's expensive. We can't have 3 things of olive oil in the pantry. So yeah, grocery shopping for a month. This whole conversation is about um, being intentional about what you're spending, where you're spending it, and how it fits, how this is going to help you move toward your goal. So yeah, going to the grocery store, whether it's once a month or once every 2 weeks or once a week, we are taking a shopping list. If I'm at home and H is on the road, he'll call and say, how much broccoli do we have? How much, do we have any spaghetti noodles? Because I know what I want to make, and I make sure that I have those ingredients in the house, or I have a standard set of ingredients. Like we love onions and garlic and bell pepper and mushrooms. So we're going to make sure that we have that in our house. So yeah, that's some of what we do. How often we go to the grocery store? We're probably going once or twice a week, because I don't like buying lettuce a week in advance. I don't want spoilage. So yeah, that keeping it to that, and not every day I'm stopping at the grocery store, was a big hurdle, because we got to the point, and there's a reason why we were doing that. We were getting paid. Herman was getting paid one week. I was getting paid the next week. So there was always money. And I thought, well, if there's always money, I can spend it. Y'all, like I said, put the money in an envelope. Every time you designate how much money. While we're talking about food is the biggest budget buster. You think I only want to spend $400 at the I only spend $400. I think, trying to remember, food stamps algorithm is something like $150 to $200 per person in your household per month. So if you're single, I probably move that up a little bit, but as a minimum, $150 to $200 a month per person. There were 5 of us. So we were spending, I was trying to cut our budget to like $500, $600. And I was like, yo, we're going to have to be really strategic about how we eat, what we eat. Could we make more cost-effective exchanges? So the keeping the money, I think also keeping money in envelopes also helps you to see cash leave. I think running the card, you're kind of like slots. I hope it goes through, or, if it doesn't go through, then I'll just make adjustments on the back end. But when you're shelling out cold, hard cash, it really makes you think about what you're doing and how much money is leaving. Yeah, it really does. We combined our food budget and our eating out budget to be one budget. So it made a difference, because when we would go to the grocery store and then go out to eat, I was like, this $50 meal could have bought bling, 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 bling for the next 2 weeks. I definitely don't think that you should penalize yourself or put yourself in a box where you can have no joy. Okay. I do not agree with the person that we took our financial education from, who says the only way someone that you're seen in a restaurant is if you're serving there. But I don't think that eating out should be a lifestyle. If you are trying to maximize your dollars in outside of the immediate, if you are trying to have more money for investing, have more money for savings, starting your emergency fund, one less coffee out could help. Yeah. Yeah. You've got little ones, Sam. So yeah, you've got little ones. It really is difficult. It just was. Our kids over time begin to like different things. And so our budget, we tried to find ways to accommodate that. You know, I can only speak from I was a mom that worked, and at some points in time early in our debt journey, other times we were a 2-family household. Money was tight regardless. So I don't want people coming away saying, well, you all were able to have that kind of budget because, nah, tight is tight. Tight is just tight. And I think reflecting on what you have spent, starting with that, and then looking for creative ways to, bring that down if needed. If not, feed your family, y'all. I'm not telling nobody to skip a meal or anything like that. It definitely, food is one of those budget busters. And if you can find a way to at least not have it grow more, I think that is a win. That's what we're looking for. Not just quick wins. We're just looking for a way to track our money and to not allow our spending to go unchecked. And that's why the suggestion about touching your money might be beneficial. If you can't do that, what we did was, like I said, as much as we could automate from our monthly expenses, we did the rest of it. Haircuts, gas. It is so painful. I was going to say it is so painful to have to walk in, stand in line, pay the guy for the gas, come back out. It was a part of what we committed to. And so that if you can go hard like that, go hard. If not, choose one thing in your budget. If food is going to be the thing that you want to focus on, then have just the envelope system for your food. But taking a closer look and using cash can be helpful if swiping a card is having you less thoughtful about what you're spending your money on. With the envelope system, a couple of other things that we learned was if the food budget got to zero, then and we still need to buy whatever, then I'm looking at the other envelopes. Miscellaneous, what we would do with the envelopes is they were the manila envelopes, like the half size, not the 8.5 by 11, but the ones that were half that size. We would actually write what we spent on the back. So this, the $20 went to haircuts. I wish a haircut was $20. We wanted to go see a movie. We, had an unexpected expense, like, my niece or nephew We were going to buy their gifts out of that money. When you begin to take a look at that miscellaneous fund, which kind of feels like a huge bucket, see if you can designate something so that it can have a line item. So food usually is an overrun. Miscellaneous is also an overrun. Needing tires, which is something we just had to deal with. I was just like, nothing is cheap. Nothing. I mean, you can go to some places, to do a few things, but I want to be a safe driver. I want to be in a safe vehicle. So do what you need to do, but that miscellaneous fund is definitely another area that we found through using cash as no, we gotta make a different decision. One of those decisions was if it was if an item, let's see, so early in marriage, if an item was over $100, we needed to come back to our partner. My partner, Herman, would come to me and say, I want to buy so and so and so. Okay. The other thing was wait 24 to 48 hours. If it's still an urgent need, then get it. But if it's something that is, if you're working on impulse, I feel like the cash system can help you have a reason to slow down. The whole point of touching your money, literally having currency in your hand, is that you want to create that mindfulness, that awareness. Because get this, if you are moving abroad, like a lot of us are, guess what? A lot more places are cash based. If you're not going to a US, Canada, Europe, there's a large part of the economy that you might be participating in that uses cash. And so getting used to not having to, getting used to having to think about how much cash do I have on me. This is a great, kind of something that I can do before I leave that will help. Be helpful in that process as well. Yes. Okay. So just kind of the natural turn of events. Eating out has just not been the experience I feel like it used to be. And so, yes, very poor quality, very expensive. Is it worth it? Like our favorite Indian place closed. Like I could shed real tears. But if you have eaten at an Indian restaurant before, ain't no way you get 3 dishes, you're not spending $80. $60, $80. So some of this, the natural order of things can help you tweak it. If you say one of the things that this is kind of extreme. I'm not encouraging anybody to be extreme, but the food choices I made around being plant-based helped me get out of the drive-through. It just helped me get out of drive. It's not a temptation anymore. Because I mean, if I want to go through the drive-through for French fries, I'm not going to do that very often. Everything else on the menu, I mean, if it's chicken, fish, beef, I don't eat it anymore. And so sometimes lifestyle choices can help. Just environmental changes, take a different route home. I'm talking about if I'm intentional about my money and I know that I want to stay in budget, what am I willing to do to learn more about my money? I was about to say success. And I don't think with success, I feel like you're putting that up against mistakes. And I really don't think that there are mistakes. I think that you're learning more about yourself and you're learning more about your money. Um, so yeah, having physical cash increases your financial awareness. The envelope, we've talked about the envelope system. We've talked about why having physical cash can reduce, I won't say eliminate, but can definitely reduce impulse buys, can definitely help you with budget tracking. So if spreadsheets don't bring you the joy that it brings me, use the back of an envelope. Literally, I'm in the line with my envelope had a pen. Each of the envelopes had a pen, and you were supposed to write it down. Then we would literally come back home with the written things, and the receipt was in the envelope. So you know where that money went. It's not just that the money disappears. Where did I spend it? I was responsible for. If I took that envelope with me because I was going to the grocery store to do the shopping. But if not, and I had cash on me and I spent something, I was responsible for putting that receipt in the envelope when I came home, I know that process drove my husband nuts. He's cooking dinner over there. If y'all hear him yell out, you know why. But yeah, I mean, it's how you keep yourself accountable. If this system works better for you, they actually have I think it's Etsy. There's lots of Etsy stores where people have it looks like a billfold, and they have a bunch of zippered compartments in like this small 3-ring billfold. And so on the tab, it has food. I mean, look, people are making money off of those of us who are trying to be more budget minded, knowing that the envelope system works. I am here to say the envelope system created the awareness I was looking for, created the mutual accountability between myself and my partner that was important to me, and gave me the mental trigger, the emotional trigger that I need to say, do I really need this? Do I need this right now? Could I plan for this better? Could I wait till the next pay period to cover that so that I can stay in budget this month and not have to dip into my other envelopes to fund a purchase, and then now I'm out of gas on because I took money out of the gas envelope and yeah, I'm creating more problems than not. Testimonies. I've been talking about VAM experience is on the cash budget system now. Congratulations, Olas. Look, if it is working for you, why? Why does cash? And I feel like we are moving more to a cashless society. Okay, so you've got your regular credit card, debit cards. You've got tapping with your credit card. You've got tapping with your phone. You've got double click on your phone. You've got the other thing I feel like is, I guess I'm calling it the bougie version, but the Klarnas of the world give you access, but you've now entered into a payment plan situation for something. If you could have paid cash for it, might have made you think differently about it. I want people to be mindful. They're now putting chips in people's body parts, hands, palm. so that you can just wave it over. Have you guys seen those? Trying to remember who it is. Is it like the Amazon Market where you go in? There's no cashier. You go in, you pick up items, and you put it in the cart. And on your way out, it automatically debits it from your Amazon Prime or something like that. I'm trying to remember because I know that they're really big in Japan, but a lot of places are moving to that, where you just the convenience factor is taking away the thoughtfulness of, I'm spending actual money. I can see my money. I had 10 $100 bills in my envelope. I now have 2. Where did that money go? I think we're getting disconnected from our money in that way. I think cash is quickly, in the US, there may be aspects of the economy that go cashless. Not from a fear mongering, but if you're not aware of where your money is going, and when, then I think for me, it built up I feel like it built up a resistance to me being thoughtful that, money's in there. Money's in there. But that money needs to do something. That money, every dollar has a name. I feel like it got to be easier over time. If you guys have tips on how you have used cash to create mindfulness, how you have found a trigger in your life that you used to use a card for, but made you think twice about, because now you got to lay down, cash for it, an upgrade on something. Would you like a whatever with that? Well, I budgeted $10 for this meal, but if I get the added whatever, if I upsize my meal, now I'm out of budget. Anything that helps trigger that thought process, I think can be helpful. I think the envelope system is just one strategy, y'all. I really want people to think, plan, and execute. The only way you can transform your financial life is if you actually start actively doing things that will help you now. Well, if you have a source of income, be thankful, whether it's a job, an annuity, a pension. Things can change, and I want this community, the community that has given so much to my husband and I, to have an awareness of the milestones that someone with a healthy respect, a healthy financial mindset has within their toolkit for taking care of themselves and their families, meeting their personal goals, and living life to its fullest. If I don't know where my money is going, somebody's getting it. Commercials are effective. Ads are effective. They are targeted to you. They see what you spend, where you spend it. Y'all, I bought my first Shein. I've been keeping a Shein cart for like 6 months. And the more I would put in my cart, the more of those kinds of ads started coming up on social media. They are watching. They know that you spend money in certain ways. That that is a data point that for someone that is of your age that looks at certain content at certain times, at certain hours. If you are scrolling at 11 o'clock, then those are the awareness that people who are smart about acquiring your money, that they have that strategy to build their wealth. What strategies are you willing to implement to be more aware of your patterns, your needs, your wants, where your money is going, and is it growing the things that is it the fertilizer to grow the things that you want more of in your life? That's all I got for today, y'all. Yes, they make payments frictionless. Yes, to entice people to spend money more. I was like, they're like, oh, it doesn't cost you anything. I'm just like, it's costing you something. Whether you can see it on the front end, you can definitely see it on the back end. Being credit card conscious, there are only certain things. Adelia was talking in Exodus Summit today. You know, she was just like, at a minimum, you need to have a way, if things shift and turn, that you can provide a stopgap. I'd rather for that to be cash money, either in my hand or in my bank account, because I want credit cards and other payment methods that loop me in to a larger process or a longer process of debt repayment. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I want you to be thoughtful about how these frictionless opportunities are impacting your money. Yeah. Numb, mindless. Y'all, okay, so what was WALL-E? That was the name of the movie. I don't know if that movie's got to be 10 years old, maybe. Yeah, I'm looking at age. That movie's got to be at least 10 years old, but there was a scene in the movie where the ship was automated. Like they didn't have to walk anymore. They barely had to chew because everything came in a straw that a server brought to them. Do you remember what the people looked like? Do you remember what happened when they came back to a gravity environment, an environment with, with gravity? Like they couldn't stand on their own legs. Y'all, they could not stand on their own legs. What would happen, which is not far-fetched, if the banking systems did not give you access to your digital funds? You'd have to learn to operate with cash. I think my husband and I's generation teaching our kids might be the last generation that sent their kids to the cash counter. We were homeschooling parents, so this was a part of their learning, that knew how to make change. I'm talking about simple life skills. If you hand a woman a $20 bill and what you bought was $10.59, they needed to be able to calculate in their head how much money was owed and what denomination of bills and coins before the person gave it to them. They were doing that at 11, 12. That was a part of their financial lesson. Please, if you are a parent of young people, please help them to hold on to those skills, cursive handwriting, all of those rudimentary things that could come in handy in the future. I really think when we are intentional about our money and we share those intentional skills with our children, with family members, I think we will raise up a generation that is able to resist some of these ploys, payday loans, which in Black communities, in Black neighborhoods in the US are very prevalent. There's a reason for that. And I want, as we learn more, that we're able to use skills to do much more. So yeah, no way. Really, they're about to, wow. Yeah, look, I don't have to pay it today. I don't have to think about it today. Of course. It's that frictionless. So hopefully you are able to gather some of the things that we've talked about, things that were shared in the chat. Thank you. Ladies, I want people to be able to live and to live mindfully. And I appreciate you all joining me to talk about it today. We've got one more week in this 4-week series. Thanks for jumping on with me today. Swiping cards can keep you broke. We think that an important strategy to consider is an envelope system using cash for one specific aspect of your budget that you have found you might be overspending, or being able to divide up your budget so that as much as you can automate those aspects of your budget, and then the rest you're using cash to pay for shelling out those dollars. Made me think twice, and I hope that it does for you too. Bye for now, everybody.